a bunch of these layoffs that have been happening are because of AI. At least that's what they're claiming. And I'm starting to understand why, because I just got a comment that inspired me to make this video, and we're going to go over this comment actually. And it's basically saying that, hey, Rico, last week my company CEO called everyone together to brainstorm on a new project. I was like, oh, wow, that sounds promising, right? He then fed our feedback into ChatGPT and showed us the formulated results. He said, "You're all safe for now," and said the results are not good enough for the expectations for the upcoming board meeting. It was surreal, and I'm not making this up. This is the world some of us live in now. And it is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So then that brought it up to me to kind of look into this. So when you have a lot of money, you can make anything work. And I've been talking to people that develop AI, and they're saying that it's not at it's like at its early stages. And it's like, oh, it's actual Indians. That's what I heard a lot of you guys say, and it's actually not that smart yet. And I agree, it's not at the stage where it can do a lot of things. But guess what happens when you throw just a shit bucket of money at it? The more money you throw at things, the more resources you devote to it. At one point, it's going to get good, right? Just like anything, you can make any car on the street or any old car that you want from the 1920s compete with a car today. You just need to invest the money, the technology, and deploy the amount of resources that it's going to take for you to actually make that. So I looked into it to see how much AI we spending on AI, right? Artificial intelligence. Global investments in the artificial intelligence space are estimated to hit 1 trillion in the coming years. That is absolutely crazy. Now I'm like, okay, some big companies probably are dedicating a lot of money to it. It's not only that. So when we're looking at startups, right? When you're looking at all these startups, you're thinking like, hey, what are these startups all doing? Well, they're doing AI tools. So far this year, 35% of startups investments has gone to AI related companies. Okay. So now we're looking at all these companies that are doing AI and they're laying people off. And so I thought about it, like the only way how you can protect these American workers is probably AI unions, where all these people are actually going to be in some sort of AI union to protect themselves and to protect the company from not eliminating all positions, because at one point it's going to be like that, right? Because when you throw enough money at it, like right now, everybody's kind of familiar with GPT, right? You can talk into it, it gives you pretty good data, it spits out. So now if we're going to take this a few steps ahead, if we're going to take this into our daily lives, it can start then predicting patterns, right? Oh, Jim walks every morning at 7, so let me start the car. Or let me see what he has in the fridge. And then they start, oh, when you're in the store, your fridge will text you, hey, we're out of milk, let's buy some milk. So there's going to be all these things that it's going to do, or it's going to even order it on Amazon, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, we restocked milk, right? So these are things that are going to be coming. I don't know how long and how much investment they're going to take. There's probably going to be a boom and a bust, and then it's going to be where we're going to be, right? Because that's just how these things go. They go like crazy, then there's going to be a boom, then a bust, and then we're going to keep on trajectory. Our trajectory is going to be like, not like this, where we're going to make huge investments. It's going to be more like steady. So now I'm looking at it like, man, what jobs are these going to impact, right? So, and I couldn't find one that's not going to be impacted. So it looks to me like it's going to be absolutely everybody. And then when I say stuff like, hey, I'm critical about the economy, I'm critical about these AI booms and about people getting laid off, then people say stuff like, have you thought about just leaving the country? That sounds like the best choice. And I say, then where? Where can anybody go to not be fearful of being laid off? You're going to have these, if you move to a European country that is more socialized and has more laws, more labor laws, you're still going to be faced with the AI trouble. You're still going to be faced with the same problems as you face here. Unless you can close your laptop, put it in a bag, and send it out in the garbage when it comes, whenever day during the week it comes, and not open it again and retire, you're going to face these issues. If you're still in the labor market, regardless of where you're at, you're going to face these issues about AI, layoffs, about the economy's not going great for the next year. Because it's not just in the US. It's not like you can say, oh, let me just get a nomad visa to another place and then have all this greatness come in. No, it's like once it's in the US, it's going to be everywhere. You see it with China, you see it with Germany, you see it with all these other countries, you see it with Canada, our neighbors. So you see it kind of everywhere. And so now I'm asking you, whoever wrote that comment, where would you want to go to not have these issues? I know where, probably Mars, but we're not there yet. So that's a whole nother thing. So everywhere you're going to go, you're going to face these issues. So, and if you can't really talk about them because you're like, it's going to be offensive, then there's going to be even bigger problems. Because if you don't talk about these issues that are going to be rising up and you're not giving people a voice to talk about them, then you know better than the party in World War II, right? So you got to speak up and you got to try to facilitate change. And if you don't want to change, then you're kind of like outdated. Because if we're not embracing change and trying to keep up with the trends and seeing where the market goes, you're going to be like a dinosaur. And when you're a dinosaur, you're going to get extinct, right? So you got to stay up with the trends, even if you don't like them too much. And just because I'm telling you all this and saying, hey, you gotta be vigilant, you gotta network, hopefully the economy's gonna get better. I have no impact over the economy, neither do you. Unless you're Elon Musk that can just fire 25,000 people, what's a huge amount, you and I don't have impact. No, not even the politicians have that much impact as Elon Musk and all these other CEOs from Intel and all that other stuff. No, we're just worker bees. We are exposable worker bees. And it's like, it hurts to say that, but that's just the truth. That's just who we are. And it's okay to say that because hey, that's a spot in society too. I'm doing great. I don't have an issue with it. I'm just saying like, hey, that's where I'm at. Do I want to be Elon Musk? Probably not, because he has so many companies. I don't know how you get a minute of sleep. And yeah, it's nice running around on some private jets, but then again, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think his lifestyle's worth it to have all these companies and have all that stress. No, not worth it. But you just got to be thinking about these AI unions. So when I was thinking about what can you do to protect all these people, then unions kind of came into play. And when I grew up in Europe, this is how I've been told about these unions. So in the industrial ages, the business owners didn't really care about the employees. So if you're working on a machine, there was no protection stuff over the belts. There was just not a lot. So if you put your arm into a belt then and you lost your arm, then they're like, you're fired, you're gone. And so people unionize for job safety and security. And then they've added labor laws and all these other things so you can then make a decent living, you can make a fair wage, and you get better working conditions, right? But now, where they're going to say, especially in the United States, where they're going to say, hey, we're just going to outsource everything. And then who's going to be left to do any work? And so then you got to protect these jobs and say, hey, we need to somehow keep some jobs in the United States, or then who's going to work? If we're going to outsource everything, it's just not going to work. We still need people to cut the grass. We still need people to maintain the parks. We still got to do this. But it's going to be interesting because once AI is going to take over, to cut the grass might be done by a robot. Somebody might just come up and drop it off. And they already have AI robots that cut grass, and it's just going to be cutting grass. And that's another job that's going to be gone. And it's all about these layoffs with AI, right? So you really got to think, how do we protect these people? Because we still need jobs in the United States. If we're not going to have any jobs, then there's going to be bigger issues. What are people going to do? And I've been starting to notice one trend. If people don't have purpose, people don't have jobs, they're going to get bored. They're going to do stupid stuff. And if you're bored, you're going to play either video games or you're going to go do crime and do other things that are not good for society because why not? You have nothing to do. And as a teenager, most people are in that spot. They're in high school, they got time off, they do cool things, they do crazy things. So now that AI union, because it's actually more difficult to file for union than it is to not have one. So when you are looking at Amazon, there needs to be, I think, like 30% union, and then you got to file all this paperwork. And so it should be a more standard process for these software companies, that these software companies are going to have like AI unions where it's just a few pages, because once we're starting to see all these AI tools starting to really be good. And they will, because when you throw so much money at it, they will be good. Then we got to say, hey, let's start implementing these AI unions so we can keep some jobs in the United States. So let me know what you guys think about this, but I feel like that's the only way how we can actually prevent all these mass layoffs and have people unemployed, or then it's going to be universal basic income and we're just going to tax the hell out of a few companies, what's going to make the United States super uncompetitive on a global market unless you can offer these AI tools to everybody. And it's going to come, so when you're thinking about, oh, you got to leave because you don't like it, I don't like it, all these tools, at one point you really got to think, where are you going to go to not have that? Yeah, if labor if labor is cheap in other countries, it's only a matter of time till AI is going to be cheaper. And then all of a sudden, you're going to have even cheaper prices of labor, because once everybody has AI tools, it's going to make that labor in that country even cheaper, because then it doesn't require any skills. And the outsourcing is going to be done by AI. And when you're looking at where and how, you can see Flippy up on the screen that already has cost of jobs. And there's going to be more jobs. And now you say, well, there's going to be people that need to service it. Yeah, people might. Yeah, but it's going to require service techs and all that other stuff. Yeah, it does. But how many service techs can how many service techs for one area? Right now, each restaurant that Flippy Robot will take over two full-time jobs and 3 shifts. So it's going to be 2 full-time and a part-time probably. So that's 3 jobs for every restaurant around. And then how many times is that machine going to go down? At the beginning, probably more. But after they figured out the kinks, it's going to just be like an oven. And your oven at your house probably also doesn't go down that much. So you're going to see that it needs way less service techs than it does cooks. So it is absolutely detrimental. And we got to see some laws or unions come into place to start saying, hey, we need to protect the workforce. And now you say, oh, we can do tariffs. Well, tariffs only help to protect an industry for so long. At one point, it's like, hey, if you just get used to the price and then just be done with it. So we got to figure out where the happy medium is. And that's where you come in. You can leave me a comment below and tell me where you think the happy medium is. Because I think the happy medium is going to be right where we were like in 2020 before all these layoffs, because people had jobs, people were happy, scams weren't going crazy. And now scams are crazy. Everything they're doing, chase money glitches because they can't pay for bills and all that. So absolutely bananas, absolutely crazy. People want to buy houses, they can't. Interest rates are going to come down 25 basis points probably. So we'll see. We will see, but it's going to be really interesting coming up, especially after the election, to see where this all goes, if there's going to be an uptick. A lot of you guys said no. So we will see. And it's in Las Vegas today, gorgeous day, fall's coming, so it's a little bit chillier than it used to be. Normally I couldn't do a video in the afternoon, but today I was like, do one in the afternoon and we'll do it. No craziness in the park on a Saturday. But yeah, we are done with this walk. And if you have an email you want to send me or a news article, do that. Go to the about section of my profile and shoot me that email, and I'll make a video about it. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in, watching, and I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.